Welcome to Money Mindset. This week, we are going to talk about communication. Communication is the foundation for every relationship that you have. And relationships are the things that make something either enjoyable, bearable, or miserable. I mean, just think of a team that you've been on or a situation where you went in thinking you didn't really have any friends, you didn't know anyone, maybe that even some of the people might not have liked you, and contrast that with an experience of going to an event or being on a team where you felt like everyone was your friend and you really enjoyed being with these people and that you are able to talk to them or communicate or whatever. It's just like way more fun because of the people that you're doing it with. It's pretty easy to see like how relationships really make a big difference. And sports are full of relationships. You have your relationship with your coach, with your teammates, with your parents, with the fans or the spectators. You have your relationship with the other team or the people that you play against. And of course, you have your relationship with yourself. That might just be the most important one that you have. And the strength of each and every one of these relationships is going to be determined by your ability to communicate. So we could just agree that by upleveling your communication skills, you are possibly going to uplevel every relationship that you have in your life. It's just going to strengthen your relationships, which is going to make life way more enjoyable, no matter what you're doing. So today, I just want to kind of present communication in maybe a little bit different way that you've thought of it before. So first, I want to ask you how you think you are as a communicator. If we have a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being a really poor communicator and 10 being like the best communicator ever, where do you feel like you fall on this scale of communicating? And if I had to guess, I would say that we all fall on different levels of this scale from 1 to 10, depending on who we're talking to. Because we all have relationships in our lives that are really great, and we all have relationships that struggle at times. And generally, the relationships that are struggling are because of communication. Okay, so think about a relationship that would fit on this like 5 or below. So it would be a relationship where you don't feel like you can express yourself openly. Maybe there's some tension there. It just feels like a struggle. Like it's not an enjoyable time being with this person in this relationship. Maybe it's your coach. Maybe you have a really hard time talking to your coach. Or maybe it's a teammate. Maybe it's a teammate that you feel like is mean to you or rude to you, or you get your feelings hurt a lot by this person. Okay, so think of one of those relationships. One of the simplest ways I've learned about communication is that it's just talking and listening. Talking and listening. So if you think about this relationship that's a struggle, why is it a struggle? Is it the talking piece that you're having a hard time with, or the listening? Okay, and we're going to break down talking and listening even a little bit further. Okay, so talking, we don't just talk with our words, right? Actually, most of the way we communicate is nonverbal. It's not with our words, it's with the gestures we make, it's with our facial expressions, it's with our tone. Okay, so if you think of talking as just somebody's way of expressing something, okay, so there's what we say and how we say it, and then there's also what we mean. So I could say that I'm in a hurry. What I mean is I need to leave right now, or I'm going to be late. Okay, so there's lots of different ways where we can say something, but what we really mean is something a little bit different. Or you could say to somebody you want them to leave you alone, but what you really meant was you didn't know how to talk to them, or you wanted to talk, but you don't know how, or you don't know what to say. Okay, and so what we said maybe wasn't what we actually meant, and what wasn't actually what we wanted. Okay, so that's kind of our talking piece. And the listening piece we can break down into the what we hear, the words that people say, but not just the words they say, right? Because people talk in other ways than just words. So we can really think of listening as noticing. Are you noticing their body language and their facial expressions and their gesture? Are you noticing the tone that they're using? Are you noticing all of those things? Are you picking up on all those? Okay. And then the other piece of listening is how we interpret what is being said, right? Or how we are interpreting the person who's talking to us. Those are kind of the 4 elements of communication, okay? So there's talking and listening, and then we break those down further. And I want you to think about where is this relationship that you have that's a struggle, what part of that could be improved? If you could just pick one of those things, what you say, how you say it, maybe what you mean, or the things that you notice, how well you listen, the attention you're paying to that person, and also how you interpret the things that they say, like what part of that is the problem? Because sometimes your coach, for example, might be saying things to you in a tone that sounds intimidating or like they're mad at you or they don't like you or something like that. And maybe that's just how your coach likes to communicate. And maybe they really like you a lot and they don't mean that they're mad at you or they don't like you, but that's how you're interpreting what they say to you. And how you're interpreting something is going to affect how you communicate with them, which is going to affect your relationship with them. Can you see how this can be a very complex thing, this communication that we have? And yet it is so important because all of our relationships are dependent on our ability to communicate. This week, my challenge to you is to focus on your communication and really break it down into how can I say what I mean and mean what I say? And then also, how can I interpret the things that people are expressing to me? How can I interpret them in a more useful way, a way that empowers me to communicate more honestly and openly and clearly and just strengthen all of the relationships that you have, especially those ones that are a struggle, especially the relationship with your coach or the relationship with your teammates or the relationship with your friends or your parents. These are really important relationships and they make life so much more enjoyable when they are good. And so this could be one of the best things that you do is learning to improve your communication. It's not an easy thing to do. It's actually kind of scary to think about. Most people think having like hard conversations or a little bit of like conflict or things like that can be really scary. But if you can really try to communicate more effectively and being willing to have these conversations that might seem kind of hard, that's the way to improving these relationships. They're only going to get better by actually having these conversations that might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but you're willing to have those conversations and improve your communication because that's the only way to strengthen the relationship. And strengthening these relationships is only going to help you. And when you can be honest and loving and caring and open and clear in your communication with other people, it also is going to naturally strengthen your relationship with yourself, which is a really great side effect of having good communication with other people, is your ability to communicate with yourself will also improve. And you're going to trust yourself more. And by doing that, you're going to be able to have more confidence and just be more authentic and just feel better overall. And so it might feel kind of hard in the moment, but I really, really, really want to encourage you to up level your communication this week. And so that's my challenge to you. Good luck. Bye for now.